Hello, this is Hector with MarketView. Today we'll be going over the MarketView Excel toolbar add-in in order to see how you can use it more efficiently. After you install the MarketView Excel toolbar, when you log into your Excel spreadsheet, be sure to click on MarketView, and you'll be able to see the MarketView Excel toolbar there on your spreadsheet there. The first thing I recommend doing is going over to the settings option there. And when you click on settings, you can do one of three things there. You can check which version you're on. Right now, I'm on the latest and greatest version, which is MarketView version 4.7.0. You can check the version here on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The second thing you can do is change your password if you like. And the third thing you can do is be sure to put a check mark here where it says show refresh button. By default, this is unchecked. So I recommend putting a check mark here once you install it in order to see the refresh button on your toolbar. So once you're done there, just click on close. And then when you click on your MarketView tab on top, you'll see the refresh icon here on the left-hand side of export. So the first icon there on your MarketView Excel toolbar is your quote icon. That is used to look at either delayed futures or real-time futures like NYMEX, crude oil, heating oil, RBOB, natural gas, or maybe Brent crude. Other users also use the quote there in order to look at the most recent spot data, like Platts, Opus, or Argus. So that's two things you can do there with the quote icon there. Look at futures information, either real-time or delayed, or look at your most real-time, the most recent spot data in that option. The second icon there is the history icon that's used to import historic pricing into Excel. So whatever your permission for, you can use the history to look at your historic data through Excel. MarketView has all the history in our servers. The only limitations, whatever you're contracted with the corresponding data vendor, like Platts, Opus, Argus. Some companies, they contract 1 year, some contract 2 years, or some contract the entire historic data from the different data vendors. But as far as MarketView goes, we have all the data in our servers. The third icon there is the chart icon that's used to chart data in Excel as well. Whatever your permission for, you can chart the data there in your spreadsheet. The fourth icon there is the curve icon that's used to look at futures settlement prices on a certain date in time, or you can also use the curve there to see the trend in data. Are your futures data points going up or are they going down in price and value? The other icon we're going to be going over is the options icon there. This is for people that trade options. So you can create an option chain there to look at your options for futures data like crude oil, heating oil, RBOB, natural gas, or Brent crude. The other icon we'll be going over is the matrix. The matrix is used to look at either futures, a spread matrix, or a strip matrix. Spread matrix are differentials versus strip matrix are average prices. The other icon we'll be going over is the refresh icon. The refresh icon works in conjunction with your history. So the refresh icon is used to update static historic imports in Excel. Okay, so if you create a static history import, you can use the refresh icon there to update your data in one shot by clicking on the refresh icon there. You can also export your data and you import it into Excel with the export feature here. The export function there or icon, that will create a values only spreadsheet with no links to MarketView. That way, if you want to send someone a snapshot of the data, you can easily do that by importing the data first with your history or with your quote, and then clicking on export to create a values only spreadsheet with no links to MarketView. The other options there are your help, just your help option there. When you click on help, it'll take you over to our website. And there you have more details into how the software works. The examples feature there is also very nice. Examples folder. When you click on examples, it'll open up a folder with several spreadsheets that we pre-built already. And you can download these spreadsheets and just play with them or modify them to your liking. All the data you see there on these pre-built spreadsheets is valid data. So you can just open it up and you'll see the pre-built version that we have there for you as well and modify them to your liking. So once you're done there, I'm going to go back, click on Market View. I'm going to start using the quote option there first. You can put your cursor wherever you want and click on quote. When you click on quote, on the left-hand side, you'll see the Market View symbol tree. The symbol tree is sorted alphabetically. So whatever your permission for, you can see it here on the left-hand side. Right now, we're looking at my ID, so I'm pretty much permission for everything we have to offer. However, in your case, it's not going to be as complete as mine is. So in your case, you're not going to be seeing the many folders as what we've seen here on my ID. In order to see everything that's available through MarketView, you can put a check mark here where it says show items I'm not permissioned for. And once you do that, it'll show you everything in one shot. Now, whatever is grayed out, it's available, but you're not permissioned for it. Like in my case, I'm not permissioned for this accord data or a PPI data. However, you can still click on it and see what's there. So in case it's something that you want to look on a trial base, you can let us know, and we can get that going for you as well. So once you're done looking at your symbol tree there, you can go back and uncheck this option, and it'll default back to whatever you're permissioned for on your MarketView ID. All right, so I'm going to put in some quotes here using the NYMEX futures folder. I'm going to scroll down the list. Again, your symbol tree, all these folders are sorted alphabetically. Go down the list to NYMEX. Double click on NYMEX. We'll go down and click on benchmarks. The benchmarks folder has the main commodities that people look at. So I'm going to click on NYMEX light sweet crude oil, which is WTI. Double click in there. We have your alias symbols and continuous symbols. These are generic symbols that roll automatically at the end of the month. If you want to go to a specific contract, just click on futures and go to your corresponding folder there. I'm going to go to Globex, which is electronic trading, and just go down to the corresponding years. Now you can go this route and you can put in all your symbols there. The only drawback of going through this futures folder is that whenever these months expire, they don't roll off automatically. So in that case, you will need to go back every month at the end of the month and delete your expired symbols. So in order to avoid the hassle of maintaining your spreadsheet on a monthly basis, you can just go and use the continuous symbols. The continuous symbols, they roll automatically when the months expire. So continuous Globex, which is electronic trading, and you can pick as many contracts as you want. So you can just double click one by one, or you can click on the third one there, and then press the shift key on the keyboard and the down arrow on the keyboard to highlight several of them in one shot. After you highlight, be sure to press enter on the keyboard to move it over to the right side. There you go. Once you have your symbols there, your contracts, down here on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, these are some of your default fields. So this is a complete list, which I pre-built already before. When you initially install the software, you're going to be missing this expiration date and the previous close, and also the contract date, basically. So these are be your default fields there, okay? So if we use these default fields, you can click on OK. And there's our data coming in, and there you have it. So I'm permission for delayed futures. This is updated on a 10 to 15 minute delayed basis. If you are permission for real-time NYMEX, these will update on a real-time basis. Now, if you notice here, we're missing a couple of fields, the one that I mentioned before. We're missing the contract date. That way it'll let us know which month we're looking at. A lot of people want to see yesterday's settlement price, and they also want to know when the month expires. So in order to add additional fields there, you just go back to your asterisk. And if you notice that when you put your cursor in the asterisk, it'll show you all the commands. So these are the commands that are used to communicate with our database via the asterisk there. So to make any type of changes there, always go back to your asterisk, click on MarketView there, and click on quote. And now we can add the additional fields by clicking on this edit button on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Click on edit. And now here under the available fields list, you just go down and we can add the contract date in there. Double click. Let's add the expiration date that we know when the month expires. And let's put in the previous close to see yesterday's settlement price. Double click. So once you're done there, we can rearrange the order of our fields there by dragging and dropping. I'm going to drag my contract date up the list. Put it right there. I'm going to put my expiration date to the very bottom of the list. Just drag and drop your field. There you go. And once you're done, just click on OK here on the bottom right hand corner. And there we go. These are the fields we want to look at there on our spreadsheet. Click on OK here on the bottom right hand corner. And there we go. Now this is a more descriptive way of looking at your data there. Now we know exactly what's going on in the market. We know the front month is the month of August. It settled at this price here this past Friday, 71.81. Column I and column J, today's settlement price, settlement date. These will fill in at 1:45 p.m. Central Standard Time once the market closes. And this August contract will expire on July 20th, which is tomorrow. So once the August month expires, it'll roll off automatically. And then September will roll up and be your front month. So you're always going to have 12 months worth of contracts on your spreadsheet. Once you're done setting up your spreadsheet, just save it like a regular spreadsheet on your computer. You can save it to your hard drive, network drive, thumb drive, wherever you want. Everything you do in Excel is saved locally. So whenever you save it, it'll save it to wherever you want. And then every time you open up your spreadsheet, these futures contracts will automatically start to update on an intraday basis. If you want to add more fields there, you want to add more data, again, just go back here to your asterisk, click on Market View, click on Quote in order to add more contracts there to your spreadsheet. I'm going to rename this sheet number 1. This will be our quotes spreadsheet. Features. Now let's keep on going to the next icon there. Go back to Market View, and let's go over our history. We're going to create a historic import in Excel. Before we do that, I'm going to create a brand new tab here at the bottom. Sheet number 2, and this will be our historic data. So you can put your cursor wherever you want. Go back to Market View, and now let's create a historic import in Excel. So this time I'm going to click on History. And again, you can import historic data, whatever your permission here on the left-hand side. Wherever you want, just go down to a corresponding folder. And go down to the NYMEX. You want to put in some historic crude oil prices. Go down to NYMEX. And let's click on the benchmarks. Let's do light sweet crude oil. I'm going to put in some historic continuous symbol there, Globex. And I'm going to use a front month. So just double click on the symbol. Also, if you know a symbol by heart, you can come up here and type in the symbol manually. If you want to put in some historical natural gas prices for the NYMEX. type in the symbol. GNG is Globex Natural Gas. You put it in the continuous symbol there as well. There you go. So I'll pull in two symbols. Whenever you put in historic pricing, you can import over 125 symbols in one shot. Right now, we only have two symbols there. The system always defaults to a rolling bucket of data of the daily last 30 weekdays of pricing. That's always your default settings there. If you want more days or less days, come in here and just change that number. Maybe instead of 30 days, you want 10 days. Weekdays is Monday through Friday pricing. When you click on the down arrow there, you have other options. You have calendar days. Calendar days includes the weekends. Traded days excludes weekends and excludes holidays. I'm going to leave the default there, weekdays, Monday through Friday. When you click on preferences here, the preferences option on the bottom left-hand corner, and you click on that option there, you have a pop-up window. And in there, I always recommend putting a check mark here where it says show symbol name in the header. That way you'll see this symbol name. And by default, it'll include the description, which is this option here. If you want an average price at the very bottom of your historic data, you can leave this, put a check mark in here, include average. This option here is by default is checked already when you install the software. You can also include a minimum price, maximum price, or standard deviation. So I'm going to leave those three unchecked, leave that checked, put an average price at the bottom of your historic data. And where it says data options for missing data, by default, it's going to leave it blank. So missing data, just tell the software how to handle your holidays. So let's say you have a holiday on a Friday. By default, it's going to leave it blank for you. But if you click on the down arrow there, you also have the fill forward option. If you have a holiday on a Friday and you use fill forward, it'll put Thursday's price on the Friday for you. If you use fill backward, it'll put the following Monday on the previous Friday for you. And if you interpolate, it'll interpolate Thursday, Monday, and put it on the Friday for you. Now, in the majority of the cases, people use the fill forward. I feel like 95% of the people, they just want to use the previous day's price. So you can do fill forward or just leave it blank by default. Also, another recommendation is to put a check mark here where it says always show currency in unit. That way, you'll be able to see the currency in unit of measure on your spreadsheet. So you'll be able to see US dollars per barrel or US dollars per MMBs. And also where it says direction, you can sort your data one in two ways. The one on the left is your default sort, which is older to newer. The one on the right is newer to older. So the one on the left is always your default setting there. I'm going to leave that there as the default. Once you're done, just click outside the window and it'll go away. And now, last but not least, where it says update mode, default settings is always real-time data. That just means that every time you open up your spreadsheet, it'll go out and bring in the most recent price for you automatically. If you do not want the data to update automatically, you can click on this down arrow there and choose static data. So if you choose static data, you can also make that data a different color. That way, when the spreadsheet is opened, that asterisk will not update unless you update it manually by clicking on the refresh icon on top. So we'll go with that here in a bit. Click outside the window and click on OK here in the bottom right hand corner. And there's your data there. So if you notice here on top on the header, you have your symbol, you have your description, currency, unit of measure, your close field, the corresponding prices, and your dates. And down here you have your average price per column. If you want to make any type of modification there to your spreadsheet, if you want to add more data, if you want to delete data, if you want to change your range there, for any type of modification or editing to your historic data, you always go back and put your cursor on the asterisk, click on Market View, and this time click on History. And then here you can add more data or change your parameters. And maybe instead of going back 10 days, you want to go back 15 days. If you want to add some more data here, you want to put in some plat symbol there, or Opus or Argus, you just type it in here manually as well. Go to its corresponding folder on the left-hand side. There you go. If you want to rearrange the order of your symbol there, you can just drag and drop. I'm going to drag the plat symbol there up the list, just drag and drop it. Very easy. There you go. Now up here on top. And let's click on OK here on the bottom right-hand corner. And there's our data. So there's your plat symbol there on first one here on the left-hand side. NYMEX crude oil and NYMEX natural gas. So this is one way of pulling historic data into Excel. We have another option there that a lot of our users were asking for before. Now it's available. It's called dynamic date range. I'm going to put another tab there, rename it. And this will be our dynamic date range. The way the dynamic date range works, you put your start date and an end date anywhere on your spreadsheet, wherever you want. I'm going to put a start date there of 6/1/2021 and an end date of 6/4/2021. Again, you can put your start date and the end date anywhere you want in your spreadsheet. And then you can put your cursor where you want to put your data at. I'm going to put it on cell C1. I'm going to go back and click on MarketView here, again, the MarketView tab. Go back and click on History. And this time I'm going over, instead of going over to the left-hand side to the symbol tree, if you notice up here on the upper right-hand corner, there's a little Recents tab. If you hover over it, it'll show you the list of symbols you've used before. So the ones with the little pin on it, those are favorite symbols. Those are symbols that I'm going to be using frequently. So they'll stay there on the list. So whenever you want to put a little pin on the symbol, all you have to do is just click on the little pin there, and it'll add it for you automatically. If you want to unpin it, just click on it again to remove the pin, and that won't be a favorite symbol anymore. So again, I'm going to choose some symbol from here. There we go. Down here on the bottom left-hand corner where it says last, I'm going to change this to dynamic date range. So dynamic date range. Where it says weekdays, I'm going to change that to traded days. That way it'll eliminate weekends and holidays. And where it says from, this is our start date. I'm going to click on pick range. So 6/1 is our start date. Click on OK. Let's choose our end date. The 2, where it says pick range. No, my end date is cell A2. Click on it there. Click on OK again. So we're basically done there. We already chosen our date ranges there, our data. Click on OK here on the bottom right-hand corner. And there we go. So we have our dynamic date range. And in case you want to change your start date or your end date, all you have to do is just put your cursor on the end date there. So you want to go out from 6/4 to 6/11. Enter. And there you have it. Maybe you want to see the entire month of June. Make that 6/30. Press enter. So the beauty of this dynamic date range is that once you create your master spreadsheet with all your data, you can easily manipulate the date range without opening the GUI every time. So down here, we have our daily pricing, and here we have our average price for the entire month of June. So this is the second way of importing data into Excel, which is, in my opinion, the best way to do it so far. Keep on going on the list. Let's take a look at the next icon there in the MarketView tab there. Let's say you want to create a chart there as well. I'm going to rename my sheet number 4. That'll be our chart tab there. Click on chart, market view, chart, and you can chart whatever data you're permissioned for. So let's say you want to come down and take a look at some, again, some NYMEX data there, crude oil. Go down to the NYMEX folder, NYMEX benchmarks, crude oil. Use a continuous symbol there, pit session for future settlement prices. I'm going to chart the front month of crude oil, double click on it. Down here where it says daily last 30 days, I'm going to go back maybe 200 days with the history. And for weekdays, I'm going to change this to traded days, again, to eliminate weekends and holidays. That way you won't have any gaps in your chart there. And then we just click here on OK on the bottom right-hand corner. And there's our data. And there's our nice chart. So up here you have your chart. Down here you have the actual data for the chart there. So again, you can easily create a chart with our chart icon there. If you want to modify your chart, maybe you want to change the date range, or you want to add more data there, you go back to your asterisk, click on market view, click on chart. Maybe you want to put in Brent crude there as well. You can just put it in there manually, or go to this corresponding folder. There's Brent crude, click on OK. There we go. In order to avoid this dip here in the chart, you go back to your asterisk, market view, chart. Down here where it says today's data show, I'm going to put the option there to hide it. We don't want to see today's price. Click on OK. And there you go. Much better now. So if these gaps here, you also want to fill in these gaps, you'll go back here to your asterisk, market view, chart. Let's put in preferences there. And this where it says missing data, just use the fill forward there to fill in our gaps. Click on OK there again. And there you go. Nice and neat then. So this is the way the chart icon works there. Again, very, very fast and efficient way to create a nice chart there. Charting tool. Keep on going down the list. The next option there is the curve. Going to create a new tab there. Rename that sheet number 5. Then this will be our curve data. So put your cursor wherever you want. Click on market view. And the curve is a very nice feature because it lets you see the future settlement prices in a specific date and time. Or another option is people also use the curve to see the trend in data. Are the prices going up? Are they going down? So you can put your cursor wherever you want. Click on curve here. And the way the curve works, all I have to just do is put in the root symbol of your commodity. If you don't know what the root symbol is, you can also click on this market view data guide, and it open up a 4-page quick guide with the symbols in there for you as well. Again, I need to put in the root symbol of your commodity. Let's see when I look at the curve for crude oil. The root symbol is just GCL, Globex Crude. I'm going to put it in there one more time. That way you can see the trend in data, trend in prices. After you put it in there, here where it says latest, I'm going to click on this down arrow here. I'm going to go back just 1 day ago. It'll show us the most recent settlement prices. However, you can go back to a specific date or go back X number of months or years. I'm only going back 1 day ago. And for the second one there, I'm going to go back. So you want to see the data for 6 months ago for crude oil. I'm going to make this 6 months. Click on the go. There's your check mark there. And just click on OK here again on the bottom right hand corner. And there's our data, our nice curve data. So if you've noticed up there on top, you have your curve. The blue line are prices from Friday, and the orange line are crude oil prices from 6 months ago. So compared to yesterday, crude oil has gone up in price from down here in the 50s up to the 70s compared to 6 months ago. So right now we're up here. 6 months ago we were down here. And here in column A, you have your months. There's your February contract, March contract, April contract. Column B, you have your prices from July the 16th, which was this past Friday. And column C, you have your prices from January 19th. So back in January 19th, the front month was February, which settled at 52.98. And this past Friday, August was the prompt month, and it settled at 71.81 versus back in January, it settled at 51.92. The September contract settled at 71.56 this past Friday. 6 months ago, back in January, it settled at 51.61. If we keep going down the list, let's see how far out it goes into the future. The entire curve there is going out all the way through 2032. So we pulled in the entire strip of contracts in one shot for crude oil for data from this past Friday, July 16th, and for prices effective January 19th. So that's the way the curve works there. Let's keep on going down the list here. Click on MarketView again. Let's take a look at the options icon there as well. Plus sign there. I'm going to rename sheet number 6. This will be our options data there. So again, the options is for people that trade options. Not everybody does that, so it won't apply to everybody, depending on if they're doing that or not. So the way it works, you put your cursor wherever you want. Click on option chain, or just click on the option icon there on top. And you can pick whichever contract you want. I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to go down to NYMEX. Let's take a look at crude oil. NYMEX benchmarks. Crude oil. Continuous symbol. Globex for electronic trading. And I'm going to put in the top 2 months there. So front month and second month. You can pick as many contracts as you want. And down here are your default fields. You have your calls on the left-hand side. There's your call symbol, call implied volatility. Your Greeks there, your call delta, gamma, Rio, and so on. You also have your strike price here in the middle. And on the right side, you'll see the puts here, which is puts, put open interest, put ask, and so on. And the system by default gives you 2 contracts above and below the strike price or at the money price. So here where it says ATM is at the money count, you'll be able to see 2 contracts above and 2 below. That's your default setting there. So as far as default, we can use this as the default. Just click on OK here on the bottom right-hand corner. And there's our data. We can make this column here a little bit wider. Okay, so in column P, you have your strike prices. Here in the middle, if you're at the money, you have 2 contracts above and 2 contracts below. Here are your calls here on the left-hand side, your C's. And there's a C there for call. Here on the right side, column Q over, you have your puts. Here's the P there for you. All the P's there are your puts. So in column P, you have your strike prices. Left-hand side are your calls. Right side are your puts. And your corresponding Greeks for each one of those there on your screen. So to make any type of change, let's say you want to add more contracts there. go back to your asterisk, click on Market View, Options. Let's say you want to see more contracts there. So it's just ATM at the money. If you want to see more contracts there, I'm going to go 5 above, 5 below. Put 5 there. Click on OK again on the bottom right-hand corner. And there you have it. So now you have more contracts there. More calls on the left, more puts here on the right. Right, so that's our options. That's the way the options work there. Let's keep on going down the list. Plus sign, market view. The matrix is also very nice. The matrix is used to either look at spreads or strips, matrices for futures contracts. And spreads are differentials, strips are average prices. So you can put your cursor wherever you want in your spreadsheet there. And I'm going to click on the spread matrix. I'm going to put in the corresponding root symbol. Let's take a look at Globex crude oil. If you know your symbol, type it in there, or if you not, just come here on the left-hand side to the corresponding folder. Future roots. Go to crude oil, outrights, and pick our symbol from here. So I'm going to use crude oil there. I'm just going to press enter. So crude oil, we're using the spread matrix for differentials. Where it says symbol names, I recommend changing that to expiration dates. That way you know which symbol you're looking at. And then just click on OK. And there's our spread matrix. So here's the contracts. There's the left-hand side, the top header there. So there's our last price. So basically you have your August minus August is 0. August minus September gives you this spread there, the differential. And if you notice here, when I put my cursor there on the cell, it gives me the formula up here on the bar. So A3 minus A5, A3 minus A8, and so on. All these are, again, spreads or differentials. Okay. You have your negatives on top in red, you have your positives in green here, and you have your zeros going down the columns. Okay. So this is your spread. If you want to take a look at the other option there, go back to your asterisk, market view, go back to the matrix. And instead of spreads, you want to look at strips, a strip matrix. A strip matrix are average prices, just strip matrix there. Click on OK. And there's our average prices. Again, I'll open my cell there on C4. And there's the formula. Average A3 through A4, average A3 through A8, and so on. So all these are average prices. All right, so this is our matrix. Let's rename this tab there. Matrix data. This is again for future information. There you go, matrix. Keep on going down the list there. Go back to market view. And now let's take a look at the refresh. Show you the refresh works. The refresh works in conjunction with the history icon. So refresh and history work hand in hand. I'm going to go back here to my historic data tab here at the bottom. I'm going to go back to market view. I'm going to click on, put my cursor there on the asterisk. I'm going to go back to history here. So again, by default, whenever you create a historic data import, the default is always real-time data. And again, this just means that every time you open up your spreadsheet, it'll update automatically for you one time. It'll go out to our servers and bring in the most recent price for you. Now, there are users that do not like that or don't want that. So we can change that to be a manual update by clicking on this down arrow here and changing it from real time. We can make it a static data there. Insert static data. And we can also differentiate static data from real time by making it a different color. Mark static data with different color. There you go. So now it says static data, update mode static data. You click on OK here on the bottom right hand corner. And there we go. So now you know that this asterisk, the data here, will not update automatically whenever you open up your spreadsheet. This asterisk will only update whenever you click on MarketView and click on refresh. So whenever you click on refresh, what the software does, it checks each one of your tabs here at the bottom. And if it finds a static import, it'll update it for you one time. It'll check all the tabs and update everything in one shot for you. Other than that, that's what the refresh does. If you want to go back to an automatic update for historic data, go back to your asterisk, market view, click on history, come back here towards the static data, click on the down arrow there, and just uncheck the bottom one first, uncheck the top one, and now it defaults back to real-time data, which means an automatic update every time you open up your spreadsheet. You click on OK here again on the bottom right-hand corner, and there you go. So now this is an automatic update going forward. So let's go back to MarketView. Now the export icon there, this is also a very nice feature that's used to create a values-only spreadsheet with no links to MarketView. So in case you want to send someone a snapshot of the data, you can do that by just, after you import your data, you just click on export here. And you can export the entire workbook or just the active worksheet. I'm going to click on active worksheet there, and you can also give it your own personal file name. For the book one, you put in export of or export of example. Click on export. And now if you notice here up here on the header, it says export of example 11. And now this is the values only spreadsheet with no links to MarketView. So if you put your cursor there in the asterisk, if you notice there's no more links to MarketView. So this is a values only spreadsheet with no links to MarketView, which you can use to send someone a snapshot of the data without them needing to have their own MarketView account. If you don't want to save this, you just click on X here on the right side to close it out. Or if you want to save it, just save it like a regular spreadsheet. I'm going to click on the X here to close it out. Now we're back to the active worksheet here again. So that's how the export function there works, the feature there. So MarketView. The next setting option there, again, is the help option there. When you click on help, it'll take you over to our website, which has more documentation to how MarketView Excel toolbar works. When you click on examples here, this opened up another window there with some pre-built spreadsheets you can download and play with. Again, all these have valid data in them. So when you open it up, all the data you see in there is valid. So I'm going to click on one here called Energy View. Click on OK there. So this is one spreadsheet that's very nice. Here you have your Brent crude on the left-hand side, WTI, gas oil, and NBP natural gas. Here you have your Brent over WTI. On these columns, you have your NYMEX crude oil, RBOB, heating oil, and natural gas. And all of these here are just cell references. If you notice, when I put my cell here, they all say MB data, MB data, MB data. So this spreadsheet is being fed by this MB data tab, which is down here on the bottom left-hand corner. When you click on this MB data tab there, this is the way we're pulling in the data with MarketView. Okay. And they were making this look nice and pretty in this MV old tab on this spreadsheet here. So again, all the numbers you see there are valid. These are on a delayed basis. So whenever you download the spreadsheet, you open it up, you can save it to your computer, and you can modify it to your liking. So this is one spreadsheet there you can play with. I'm going to click on the X here to close it out. Go back to the MarketView there, and you can open up others from the examples folder here as well. But as far as the MarketView Excel toolbar goes, these are the main icons that you're going to be using: the quote, history, chart, curve, options, matrix, refresh, export, settings, help, and examples. Thank you for being here today. And that'll do for today's MarketView Excel toolbar training. Thank you.